Antiquitas, posterior, Clovis, Origio, Europa. Whew, that's a mouthful. Not only that, I probably said most of that wrong, but this mod itself is one of the most interesting mods that I've played so far this year, and it is for Attila. I wanted to go ahead and make this top 5 for 5 reasons why you should be playing this mod. And I wanted to go ahead and make it because I feel like I want to give support for this mod. I've had a lot of fun with my campaigns on it so far, and I just wanted to go ahead and share it with my subscribers and my potential subscribers and the viewers here. So let's go ahead and start with number 5. Number 5, why you should be playing this mod, because it'll bring back interest in Attila, or your interest in Attila. Now, in my opinion, my most humblest opinion, I believe that Attila is one of the most underrated of the Total War games. It really was meant to just fix the things that were wrong with Rome 2, but throughout the entirety of Attila, the bad taste of Rome 2 was in most Total War YouTubers and Total War players' mouths. I mean, the online was essentially dead before it even got off the ground, and a lot of people just didn't. Creative simply hadn't proven themselves yet from Rome 2. They were still doing the same sort of business practices that got them in this mess in the first place. Fortunately, they saved it with Total War Warhammer. Number 4, you get new factions. Not only does this mod give you a new incentive to go back to Attila, but it also gives you new factions that kind of keep you wanting to play Attila. You can play as the Frankish kingdom, you can play as the kingdom of Soissons, you can play as the kingdom of Italy. The Huns are changed to the Berbers, and I mean, there are changes, which I'm going to get into, that are cosmetic changes for these factions to look more like the factions that they've been changed to. But the fact that we get to play on the Attila map with kingdoms instead of just factions it means milestones. Number 3, religions. This mod does a religion overhaul. It adds new religions while overhauling the effects of other ones, and the effects of the ones it adds Judaism, monophysitism, and Buddhism. Those are the 3 that are added, but the other ones are also kind of balanced to work around these ones that are also added. So religion itself is one of the major gameplay mechanics that I love in Total War games, because it's so important to everything when it comes to Total War. It's so important to the historical side, the military side, the domestic side, the realistic side. It just encompasses all of that. So not having religion in a Total War game is just not gonna work. It's been in there the entire time. Total War Warhammer really doesn't have religions per se, from what we know as religions, but it does have sort of a version of it with corruption and everything like that. So it has its own version. So this is really, really important. Adding new religions, like even Judaism. I don't know what monophysitism is. I'm probably saying that incorrectly, but I do know what obviously Judaism and Buddhism is, and I like the addition of both of those. It makes sense for the time period. Number 2, the Franks reskin. The Franks in Total War Attila are kind of bleh. They're kind of meh, in my opinion. But in this mod, they are reskinned. Unfortunately, though, I had to put this one. I was thinking to put this one lower on the list, as a I guess like closer to number 4 or 5, because of the fact that a lot of the factions. This is one of the nitpicks that I have with this mod. A lot of the factions don't have the sufficient amount of new units, and I plead with the developers to go ahead and add more units, add more skins, because there's a plethora of skins in Total War Attila, different mods that you can put on there, and so not having a lot of the units feel very similar to the units that you would have in the regular Attila, in my opinion. But the Franks, that's the reason I put the Franks so high, because they get complete skin, they get new units for the most part. Number 1, this mod pushes the timeline roughly 100 years, basically making this an entire revamp of the map and the era. I believe this one moves the starting position at 481 AD, which is roughly around 100 years after Attila. I feel like this era is a lot closer to the Dark Ages. I know in a couple videos ago, someone said something about there are no Dark Ages. Well, I mean, from what I learned from history, there are Dark Ages. So this actually gives us some insight into that time period. And not only that, but this mod actually reworks everything. It reworks the family trees to put in the royal families that were there at the time. It adds new characters, new generals, new faction leaders. It reworks the pictures and of all the playable factions and the flags and everything like that. It just changes everything, and even the textures to make brand new characters and units, and even time period. That's my list, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comment section below what you guys think of this mod if you played it. And I do have a question. Question of the day is going to be, what is your favorite revamped Total War mod? By that I would mean a mod that revamps to a different era than the actual Total War game represents. And drop me a like if you like my video, guys. Always, thank you so much for watching. Hit that subscribe button. Subscribe to my channel. It's going to be Jetzu signing off.